Hey guys, good evening and welcome to the Arsenal and Me. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. So today I want to talk about something that is very very important, and it also still has to do with Bukayo Saka's injury. We all know that Bukayo Saka's injury is of course the topic right now because almost everybody is talking about it. I mean, even the manager, Mikel Arteta himself, talked about the injury and he he was specific about the fact that Bukayo Saka was going to miss a couple of match. And in my last video what I did was that I actually I stated those matches that he could miss, ranging from the Man City derby, that is Manchester Arsenal versus Manchester City, or Arsenal versus Manchester United. He's also going to miss even our next match against Ipswich. Then he would miss match against Tottenham. He's going to miss our match against Dynamo Zagreb, Monaco. All of these matches are matches that are more the matches that Bukayo Saka is going to miss. Now, it is no doubt that Bukayo Saka, if not the most important player in our squad, is perhaps the one of the most valuable player we have in our squad. Besides Odegaard, he's injured. He was injured against um, he was injured against Crystal Palace in our last match when we won 3 goals to, was it 3 goals to one, or when we won 5 goals to one. Now, since that injury, there has been a lot of talks around transfer and every other thing like that. So now in this Christmas video, I'm actually looking at potential players that Arsenal could be looking at signing come January, because obviously we need to get some sort of replacement. And if we don't get a replacement, what are the likely things that we will do? And why replacement is crucial now? Because this injury is a type of injury that actually could force, a change in national transfers policy. Because rarely do we get a player during the January transfer window. Rarely. It's not like we don't get players during the January transfer window, but rarely. Now, one of the things that the injury has caused is that even Sterling, that could have played Saka's position, is also injured. Sterling has injury due to, a knee injury, and is also unavailable. So if Sterling is unavailable and Saka, which is our most valuable player, is also unavailable, then what are the things that can be done? It would have been nice if, for example, Martinelli can play that wing, but there have been a couple of times where we have seen Gabriel Jesus play that wing, and Gabriel Jesus playing that wing has been, not like Saka, of course, but now we can't even use Gabriel Jesus in that wing because Gabriel Jesus right now is playing very very well. In the last 2 matches, he has scored 5 goals, and if he has scored 5 goals in the last 2 matches, it would mean that there is no way we would need to play Gabriel Jesus in that role, because Gabriel Jesus now as a nine is a very very good, a very good, a very Gabriel Jesus now as a nine is a very very good option for us because he has picked up his form, and that is something that we need right now because we need to score goals from open play. So the first player that I will be mentioning, unlike in my previous video where I said maybe we could get Rafael Leao, from AC Milan. Now I'm looking at other players, and these players are also players that I have seen from other people's, other Arsenal YouTubers video where they talked about these players, and some sort I agree with them. In some videos I've seen people mention the likes of Mohamed Kudus. Now Mohamed Kudus plays for West Ham. He's a 24-year-old Ghanaian international. Mohamed Kudus' kind of profile is the kind of profile that yes, that really really fits Arsenal very very well. Why? It fits Arsenal because Mohamed Kudus can play different roles on the pitch. He can play, as a midfielder. He can play as a left winger, a right winger. He also can play as a false nine. So all of these things are things that are very very important. And the kind of squad that Teta is building, I believe we would need people like Mohamed Kudus in his squad. And what even makes it interesting is that June 30th of this year, 2024, his release clause expired, which means that Right now, Mohamed Kudus does not have any release clause that can be triggered because according to his contract, right now it expires June 30th, and it will also be active. It will be active again after 2024-2025 season. By that time, the release clause will be active again. So if Arsenal would want to go for him now, the talks are like between 85 million pounds. So I'm not sure Arsenal will be willing to spend that kind of money in January. But if, for example, we spend that kind of money in January, it would really be a big deal. It will really be a big deal. So he's a player that is quite versatile. Now this is about his second or third season in England. He knows how the league is already. He is also becoming very proven. He gives assists, he score, and he does all of those things very, very well. So the second player we'll be looking at today is Rashford. Many people do not even want to hear anything about Rashford, especially Arsenal fans. For the fact that he's from a rival club, it's Manchester United. A lot of people does not really want to hear anything about Rashford. But there is no way we can talk about transfers and not talk about Rashford. Because in my opinion, Rashford is not just experienced. He has a lot of cap under his career. He has played a lot of matches. He has played a lot of big matches, both Europe and as well as in the domestic league. So if you are looking at Rashford, for example, one of the problems people have with Rashford is maybe his attitude. Maybe you begin to consider his attitude problems. But if we could remember, there was a time, I think it was Dizabi, when Dizabi was the coach of Brighton, and we wanted to do the transfer for Trossard. He also had issues with Dizabi, I suppose. I think Dizabi was the manager then. He had issues with Dizabi. So there are times players can have disagreement with maybe a manager or something, or for example, a player fall out of favor, on the manager's part. It does not necessarily mean that the player is no longer, you know, or can no longer get to their best. So I'm not trying to make a case for Rashford. No, what I'm saying in essence is that Rashford in an Arsenal squad, Rashford has the technical abilities that we want. He's very, very fast. He's an intelligent player. We can't actually take that away from him. He might have had bad seasons, but he's actually an intelligent player. He can score goals, and he also can play. Maybe on the left, for example. So, and if you are looking at the problems with Martinelli now, so do we not think that Rashford is an upgrade to Martinelli? So if Rashford is available, maybe he's willing to have a wage cut or something like that. Why can't we not go for Martinelli? I mean, why can't we not go for Rashford? So to me, I don't really think Rashford is the problem. I think the fact that the rivalry, which is okay, but then is it going to really serve the purpose of coming to Arsenal? Those are the things we need to look at. Anthony Semenyo is another player also on the list. Now, Anthony Semenyo is a 24-year-old as well. He's a Ghanaian international playing for AFC Bournemouth. This season, he has 16 caps, 5 goals, and 1 assist. And if we look at the way Bournemouth is playing this season, Bournemouth has practically beaten almost all the top teams. Bournemouth won against Arsenal, won against Man City, won against a few other big clubs like that. So when you look at the way Bournemouth has been playing, and for a player like that, like Semenyo, you realize that he already understands the purpose. He already understands, you know, what he needs to do in Arsenal. So if he comes to Arsenal, personally, I think he's going to be a quick hit. There is really nothing much to say. He's strong, he's young, and he's going to be a better replacement for example, maybe a Martinelli or even let's say Saka. Because Saka plays a lot of games every season, and I do not personally see Sterling filling the space of Saka because right now Sterling is not really playing well apart from the fact that he's injured. And if you look at his age too, you really can't compare him to the idea of the fact that we want to build a young squad that can last for a certain number of years so that we can win cups apart from winning the league title, probably win the Carabao Cup that we just got to the semi-final, which we are going to be playing against Newcastle, and many of other important things like that. So I do not think it's going to be bad if we look into Semenyo. The other person we are going to be looking at is the Brazilian international João Pedro. who was born in 2001, 23 years old, and he plays for Brighton. But the thing now is that playing for Brighton is one thing because Brighton actually knows how to sell players a lot. They know how to make money from all the transfers. This season, he has 11 caps, 4 goals, and 3 assists to his name. The fact that at least he can score and he's a very, very young chap, just 2001, born 2001, and also Brazilian international. Maybe he fits the kind of profile of player that we can get in our squad to rest Bukayo Saka when we have to rest Bukayo Saka that are already really very proven. So that is Jao Pedro for you. Demola Lukman, the Nigerian international, has 9 goals and 4 assists this season, and he has played 14 games. So if you look at the fact that he has 9 goals and 4 assists, and also is the current African Footballer of the Year, he is a very, very important player to Atlanta FC. So currently in the Italian league right now, they are doing very, very well. And looking at the fact that they want to win the Scudetti, of course, it's going to be very difficult for him to leave. Not even in January. So January is one thing, but even leaving at the end of January, for example, because he's one of the most valuable players in the world right now, and it's going to take a lot to get him away from Atlanta. So Ademola Lookman is a very, very, very big potential that, if for example comes to a club like Arsenal, can really, really progress very, very fast and become even a bigger player. Yes, I understand the fact that he just won the current African Footballer of the Year, but a club like Arsenal will give him a better profile, in my opinion. That is no disrespect to Atlanta fans. Although 27 years old, which may not be all that favorable, because I mean 27-year-old, how many years of contract will he sign? He's going to sign 5 years. If he signs 5 years, that means he's going to be about 32 by the time he finish. So there are many things to consider for Ademola Lookman, but it doesn't take anything away from the fact that right now he's doing really, really so well. So the other person to consider, which is more like a bonus for me, is PSG's forward Kolo Muani. So what do you guys think about the list? And what do you think about Kolo Muani? What do you think about all of these guys? I just mentioned Kolo Muani really because if Kolo Muani, I mean, he plays in PSG this season, he has 1 assist with 10 games to his name, but 2 goals and 1 assist in 10 matches is too small. Yes, I agree. But I mean, we are looking for a replacement. So I mean, we are looking for not a replacement. We are looking for somebody that can play when Saka is not available, like now. So and it's January. Remember, it's January that we are looking at. So are we going to say that because it's January now, we should go all out to get a very, very big player, or can we get players like Kolo Muani just to manage the time, or should we just wait till the end of the season and get a proper player? So kindly drop your opinion in the comment section. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.